So welcome back to Fantabulous Bags, where we do product development sketches. Today we're going to continue on with our fun little sketch over here of a woven plastic bag. Well, it's a woven plastic PVC ribbon bag. I'm not quite sure what it's made of, but here I just took a picture of the actual colors, so we're going to try to use those. And what I did here was I got my original sketch and I went to Object, Image Trace, and just went ahead and put it on the scanner and made it into a digital sketch. So what I like about doing that is that it gives it something of a hand look without going nuts on a computer, because I tried once doing it just with the computer and it took a million years and it looked good, but it took what usually takes me about 15 minutes to sketch. It took me like 3 hours to make it look good. So I said, nah, not a good idea. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look over here at all our different colors, and we're going to see that there's actually kind of a rudimentary plaid here. There's a blue line this way, that way, and a pink line this way, that way, making little squares. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a couple of these guys here. Oh, wrong tool. I want direct select tool. I'm going to pretend I'm making a plaid, like I'm pretend weaving, and just go through that and that and that and that and that. And there's one there. All right. So that's going to be this kind of color here. So let's just grab it and see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, it's not terrible, but I think it's a little too dark. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to go for a lighter tone of the same. Let's see if that looks a little bit, nah, it looks a little bit dead. Let's try here. All right. If you're not too crazy about what you're coming up with, okay, that one's better. You can always try something else. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is, I like that color, and I'm seeing that it goes down this way. So let's just go ahead with it. Let's just keep our plaid going, and I see that they put a line of it down this way, so let's do that. And I see actually there's 1, 2, 3, 4 strips in between, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do this line too. Oop, that's not right. I didn't want to do that. Cancel. I dropped everything. That's okay. Sometimes these things happen. So I'm just making my plaid. It's going to look a little bit funky, which is fine, because the bag actually looked kind of funky too. So if your bag looks funky and then your sketch looks funkier, and probably doing the right thing. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit so we can get a better look at it. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and use the same color here that I grabbed. Okay, so now we're getting our plaid. I might go ahead and toss over the whole bag or areas of the bag some kind of pattern to give it this kind of look. But we'll try that later. For right now, we're working on the colors. Now, what I'm seeing is that there also is like a shine to them. I'm wondering if I could actually redo this differently. Let's see. Let's go to our, okay. Let's go here, and we're going to go to our swatch library and go to gradients and see if we can swap it out for something. So let's like what some brights look like. Actually, the bright might work. I think this bright, let's touch that and see. Actually, I'm kind of liking it, but I think I want the light to be in a different direction, so I'm just going to reverse it. There, okay, actually, I want to do that again. Let's see. Reverse it. Okay, I think I like it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to swap these out. I'm going to go with the brights, and then, because I want to make this look a little more lively and maybe not have to use so much shadowing, because sometimes it can be a little bit tedious. All right, let's do that. Let's just go ahead, and we're going to use our bright over here. Okay, all right, you know what? I think it's looking okay. So let's zoom out a touch and see. Okay, let's move you over. Okay, so now we actually have the bottommost line has the same idea. So let's go ahead and like that. So this weave piece here that goes all the way on the bottom. Also, it looks like it's gonna have that coloration, so let's zoom in. All right. So once we get all our colors in, okay, we got some stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna do that again. We'll throw a shadow over it, maybe, if it's necessary. We might not need it. Okay, so now let's look at our pattern again. Okay, so what else do we want to do? We have some bright blue. Actually, let's just go with the blue on this bright palette because it's kind of working. Okay, so let's see where the blue went in reference to the... Okay, so it's the next one over. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do that. Okay. Oh, that's not it. I want to just grab... Now we're weaving, so to speak. We're weaving down and then across. So, so this one would be also. All right, let's just go. So having like a kind of a plaid idea here. Okay. Now this one wraps all the way around. This one goes over here and over there and over. This one is too tiny. Let's zoom in a little bit more and grab it correctly. Okay, so now let's zoom out again. Okay, so again we have these, we have to count 4 rows and do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute. Is it 4? Yeah, the other one was 4 too. All right, whatever. So I'll do the next one over because it seems to be the one over from. All right. Hopefully this is going to look good with the bright as well. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to go with the bright blue. All right. Let's see. It's like this turquoise number. Not terrible, but I want to again switch it over. I think I might actually add a little bit of shadow to this because it's looking massively bright. Okay, next one we have like this maroony color. I'm not seeing anything there that's even close. It's kind of like a mauve color, but that doesn't mean there isn't something out there. Let's go back to our palette over here, and we're going to open our swatch library again and go to gradients and see what else. So I don't think it's an earth tone. Maybe fruits and vegetables? Pastels, maybe pastels. Let's try pastel and see what happens. 2 pastel. All right, let's try again. So, okay, just open a bunch of libraries. Kid stuff. Let's remember that. Gems and jewels, maybe. Let's try that. Okay. All right, this one. We can try it. Let's try it. Okay. So, or this one. Yeah, actually, that one might be good. The tanzanite. Okay, sure. All right, so we're going with tanzanite as our next color. Good. Okay, so what I'm also seeing here is that how many stripes between the reds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 4. Okay, so we're going to keep working on our plaids. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the next one over, we actually had to do this too, in the pink. So let's just get all of our plaids together, and this is going to come together pretty quickly. Then we'll figure out what we do. I believe the handles were pink and white, so that should be pretty easy. I'm going to say they're all that way. I'm going to say the next one's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one is also, I'm going to imagine all the plaid is finished already. Okay. I'm going to go down. There. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is now that I got an idea of how this plaid is supposed to look, I'm just going to complete it. The blue is next to it right here, so let's go ahead, being that we already know that. Okay, so again, boom. I think there's also white in this tanzanite color that we're going to play with. And I'm going to assume that this one is blue too, because it makes sense. Looks like somebody actually did their homework and was counting when they did the weaving. Okay, so now we're going to grab our blue. Okay, and next we're going to work on our tanzanite. Okay, so we're starting to look like a plaid. There's like a lighter pink too and a white, and I think that's going to complete everything. And then we have to figure out what the heck we do with the rest of it. But all right, so the next one under it is the tanzanite. So the next row here is going to be tanzanite. So, well, what I hope it's tanzanite. Let's see what this is going to look like. So the tanzanite is next to the blue. So let's go ahead and grab, and then we'll go and find where it is elsewhere. Okay. Let's just do it. I want to check to see what it looks like. It's not bothering me that much. The only problem is that the shine is in the wrong place. Let me see if we can, like, first let me swap it around. That's better. Then I'm going to move this over like so. I want it more like that. All right. I think I like it. I think this is better. Move it a touch more. Okay, so now I've got a color that I think is suited. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our tanzanite. And then we're going to find our, like, peachy pink and go from there. Okay, so back to this. All right, let's zoom out a smidge so I can see the pattern. I tend to think it's probably, yeah, the next one down is tanzanite. And then there's a white, which we're going to have to find the shaded white because it's going to look too bright. Here we can do gray colors, tones or something, but we're going to work on that after. Okay, so the next one is tanzanite. Okay, so the next down one is this one. So let's go with that. Tanzanite. All right. Weird name, but whatever. Okay, so here we go. The next is this. All right. Shift, 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 shift. And the next one down is this one. And that one we're going to do tanzanite too because I think that's correct. Being that the tanzanite would be under the blue, we're going to go with it again here. We have a bit of a problem with one of the weave patterns, but we'll fix it. Okay, we'll do that last. Okay, so now we have all our tanzanite except for this one, which I believe would also be the correct color. And we're done there. Okay, let's do it. Let's grab and grab. But see, now we're progressing a lot quicker. So the next one is that peachy light pink, which I'm wondering if it's going to be this thing over here, which is pink tourmaline. Maybe. Okay, let's try it. Let's look at our original swatch photo that we have. Okay, yeah, that looks okay. So the next one over here is pink tourmaline. So let's go for it. Pink tourmaline. We're going to do one and then check it to see if we like it, and then we'll play with it. I guess it's okay. But I definitely need to flip it over, move this over, and let's see. That's looking good. Okay. So I'm going to assume that this guy over here is also going to be pink tourmaline. So I'm just going to grab those. The one under, yes, correct. The one under the tourmaline is the purplish color. Let's see. All right, here we go. So the next one down is this. So we're slowly getting our plaid ready. The next thing we're going to have to find some kind of pearly white color to do the next one. So under the purple tourmaline is this. Okay, I have to fix that other tourmaline that I made a mistake with when I made my sketch. Okay, so, and this would also be the peachy, whatever it is. Okay, forgot the name of it already because I'm half asleep. Okay, here we go. Ta-da! Okay, so the next thing over actually is going to be a white. I'm pretty sure, but that white is just paper white. It's way too white. Yeah. So, as I recall, the handles were pink and white. So I'm going to say it's the, whatever this is, what was it called? The pink tourmaline and the tanzanite. So I'm going to go with the tourmaline for the handles because why not? I like the word tourmaline, okay? Tourmaline. Okay, here we go. So, tourmaline. Let me see if I'm correct and there's a white going down. Yes, there is a white going down. All right. So let's just go ahead and grab our handle. And, okay, and it's kind of had this like interesting pattern. I think we might run into some trouble because I see I made a couple of mistakes here. This is, yeah, that one bled into the other one, but that's fine. We'll just keep working on it. Okay. Okay. Hopefully this is going to work, but if we need to correct things, we need to correct things. Okay, so now I'm going to go with this color again. This is working out fairly quickly, actually. So actually, it's looking good. Now what I need to do is to find, move this over, a white. Maybe actually one of these, or maybe one of the pastels. No, the pastels are too gems. I might actually do a tonal thing. All right, let's go ahead. So now we have to grab all these little white boxes and make them pretty. And then this guy has to be fixed, and this guy has to be fixed because they don't match. All right. Actually, I could do this too. Let me see if I want to check what the white. Now that looks a little strange. That one isn't so bad, actually. What is that? That is called dun, 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 pearl. Okay, that's exactly good. So, but I want to just do it as a side gradient, and then I'm going to flip it. Okay, I think it looks good. I think it looks good. Yeah, I think it just gives a touch of what we need. All right, so great. Now that we are happy with our white, let's just go ahead and grab all of our little errand little white pieces over here. And then I think definitely this is going to need a little bit of shadows because it's looking really like boring. All right, so quickly grab all the stuff you need to grab. Any spot that's underneath, we're just going to do gray. And people will understand, mostly, that it's a shadow if it's dark enough and you do your correct thing. Okay, so I'm going to grab all of these pieces. And we're just going to go ahead and, all right. The interior actually could be a lot of gray stuff. Okay. We'll see what we do to make it look three-dimensional. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our eyedropper tool. Dropper tool. There we go. Or sampling tool, whatever you want to call it. Let me see. I'm going to do this one too. Has to be actually that. And this one also has to be that. And this one has to be blue because it's actually something that's going underneath. Okay. Great, great, great. So now we have, okay, let's draw back a little bit. Now, there was a couple of spots that, for example, here, this blue spot over here needs to be fixed, much to my dismay. So I'm going to zoom in to that spot there. So there's a hole here. So what I need to do is close it up or recolor it just like that. Just quickly make a shape. And it's going to be the tanzanite, I think it was called, yeah, the tanzanite color. And there. Okay, so now I made a fakie, and I'm going to go and color it in like that. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, no one will be the wiser. Okay, let's go back out. I did the same thing here. I made this mistake over here. Okay, so let me just zoom in there. No, more zoom. Yay! Okay, so you see this spot here needs to be white or whatever, pearlescent. So it's going to say, let's just color that in quickly. Whoop. Make a little bit of a triangle. All right, we're good. Okay, so next we do is we grab here and boom, nice. Okay, very good. So let's go back. Lovely. Now wouldn't it be lovely? Okay, now what we need to do now, I think, you may disagree with me. Here, this spot here, I want to color it in gray because it's underneath and you really don't know what color it's going to be. It's probably going to be blue, but I'm going to put a dark blue under there just to see what it looks like. Okay, no one's going to notice. Okay, so, but they would notice if it was white. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to give myself a little bit of shadowing in this area. So I'm just going to see how it looks as a gray. Let me see. Let's do a gray. like a light gray and see what happens. I think I want to do a gradient. Let's go back to the gradients. Oh, no. I want to go back to my library, and I'm going to go to the gradients, and I'm going to do fades. That's a really fun one to do because it goes to white. So you can actually, let's do like a fade like this. Now that is getting kind of interesting. Let me do a little bit less of a fade. You can actually change the angle on it here, the gradient window. Let's do like, no, that's backwards. I think I want it 30 regular. There. I want it to look like it's coming out of nowhere, and I also want to decrease the opacity because it looks kind of like, I don't know, like a gateway to hell. I don't want it to look that dark. Okay, let's see. All right, let's see. You see, now we're getting an idea of three-dimensionality. Very nice. I'm going to use this same gradient here, but first I want to see if I can throw a pattern over this. So I'm going to just, these areas, they're screaming to be colored up, so I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to grab the white because I think that's what's under there. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just going to go grab this, and I'm going to say, I think it probably is at that point, like that, and no, blue. Okay, and this one will also be, that would be like a tourmaline. Okay, very good. So I have some colors there. It looks okay. Very good. Now I want to actually add a little bit of shading there too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab, I'm actually going to zoom in, and I'm going to grab all of these parts that I just colored in like this. Shift, 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 shift. And I'm going to say copy, paste. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to go with a gray tone, and then maybe a darker gray tone. And then I'm going to take these pieces and get them really opaque. I mean, light on the opacity. Just like 20%. I want to just mute the color a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so let's just grab these guys together. All right, let's move them back to where they went. Ta-da! Okay, so now we have a muted coloration there. It looks good. We're probably at some point, this guy looks a little strange when we get up close. I should have done something better with that. I'm just going to do this. No. There. Move this to the side. There. That's better. Okay, now it looks dark and not so dark. And that. Okay, very good. Okay, so now I want to see if there's any way. Let me see. I can just grab. No. Sometimes you can do, say, control. Actually, let me do this. So I grab the outer edge. I'm going to say copy, paste, and see what happens. No, it didn't work. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay. One more time. I'm going to zoom in. Zoom all the way into 200%. I'm trying to grab the outer edge of the entire periphery of my sketch. No, it's not doing it. Let me see if I can just... No. Yeah, no, it's all united. It's not going to work. Oh, well. Let's go back. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I mentioned that I would like to add a little bit of a texture. So let's go ahead and try that. I'm going to try a texture here because it does have the whatever it is, PVC has some kind of texturization. Okay, let me get rid of that fill because it's really driving me crazy. Okay. And I am going to actually zoom out a little bit more. Okay, there, that's better. I'm going to add some texturization. When you do this texturization, you don't have to be that exact because it's nice that it looks a little bit artsy. So it's almost like you're throwing a shadow. So let's do this. I'm going to go like there. Okay. going to go here. Just imagine where the shadow might be. And you might actually be able to use this also for shadowing, okay? All right. If I were a shadow, where would I be? Kind of a thing. Okay, so I don't know if I did a good silhouette, but we'll find out soon enough. Okay, so now, oh, perfect. It's almost perfect. Okay, there. So now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go to, again, my palette. Hello. And I'm going to go again to my old magical swatch library, and I'm going to go to patterns. And I'm going to say basic graphic patterns and see what it comes up with. Dots and lines and textures. Let's try the textures and see what we come up with. All right. Bird's feet. No. No. Want some capsules, circles, concentric circles, crosses? Nah. Lines. I want something like that. I think actually, let's go back. I think we're going to need to use another pattern box. Let's see. Let's try graphic patterns. This time we're going to go with lines. All right, here. All right, let's try the grid. Okay, that's more like it. Okay, that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the grid that I just found. I'm going to reduce it by 30%. I meant by 70%, maybe 80%. And I'm going to do a non-uniform one. I want it to look different. I want it to be more like that kind of a look. So I'm going to do 20 by... Okay, and I'm only transforming patterns. So I'm taking off the check from the transform objects, and I'm going to see what happens. Okay, so now I have this kind of a pattern. Not what I was hoping. And I don't think it looks good either, so I'm just going to go back. And I'm just going to see if they have any other patterns that they can do. Or maybe I'll just be crazy. I have a better idea. All right, let me just do something. Ooh, that's too much. Go over here. No, still too much. All right. That might work. That is even better. What's that? No, that's not going to work. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, again, to reduce the pattern uniform by 50. Okay. Just object. Okay, so now I think even more. I'm going to go down even more. I'm not going to go down another 50%. I'm going to go down even more of that. Okay, there. Okay, so now I have this nice little gritty thing, and it's actually also affording me some kind of shadow. What I want to do now is I'm going to go to the rotation tool over here, and I'm going to transform the pattern only, and I'm going to make it diagonal. Oh, that looks like a nice... Okay, so now I have my nice little pattern, and let me roll back on it and see. Let's see, let's go at 100%. Okay, so it's giving me an idea of a pattern, but I think I want to actually make it bigger. Now that I see it, I think it needs to be a little bit bigger. Let's go back up 120% and see what that does. Huh, that didn't look like it did much of anything, but okay. 150%. Let's see what that does on what we're doing. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Now, because it's a little dark and it's looking a little bit aggressive, I'm going to go down on the opacity a smidge, just to give us an idea of texture. Okay, so now we have texture. Okay, you can stop here and say, oh, I'm done. Or you can say, you know what, I want to add an extra shadow, especially coming down on the side here, because this whole side is going to be in shadows. So again, I'm going to grab this tool. Actually, we could probably do this. Grab this. And actually, I think I want the opacity a little bit less. I think I lost some of that there. Okay, that's better. Okay. So now we have our texture. I'm going to grab our little texture shape. Not got too dark, as you can see. And I'm going to, can't see what the heck I'm doing. I'm going to put it over here. All right, so now I'm going to grab these points, and I'm going to make, let me see. You know what I'm going to just do? Go here and delete some anchor points like that. Oop, boop, boop, boop. All right. I think that works. Now I'm just going to grab anchor points, and actually I want to get rid of more anchor points. I don't think I want to put it on this, on the, there. Okay. I think that looks like okay. Like an okay kind of a shade. Kind of gives me the idea of that. It's okay if it goes underneath here. All right. I think I also want to make it a little curvy. So I'm going to put an anchor point tool here. I'm just going to go like this, wee, and make it a little curved out. Okay, I think I like that shape for my shadow. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my piece here. I'm going to go and get a dark gray. And it's at a 70% because of that. I'm going to grab this shadow piece that I created and put it over here. Needs to go up a little bit. I think I don't mind it, but I think it needs to be a little bit lighter because, let me see. Oh, let's move you over here. Oh, let's move you over here. All right, we're good. I think that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take opacity and go down even more. I'm going to go down like 20%. 28. All right. Yes, very good. So now we have our shadow. If you really wanted to, you could apply shadow around the edges of things, but I think it's kind of a waste. You can do, let's do one more thing. Let's do the pen tool. Because the inside of the handle does have an extra shadow, let's do a little bit of a line here. Just gonna do this. Those little details sometimes add, sometimes they don't, but sometimes they're a waste of time, but sometimes they do add something. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm gonna get rid of this fill for one thing, and I'm gonna go to the stroke, and I'm gonna say, I wanna do a 3-point stroke. Ooh, no, I need a bigger stroke. I need a fat stroke. She's like, what is this woman doing? All right, so next I'm going to round off, and I think that's good. I want to grab one of these anchor points that is not doing what I want. Okay, I'm going to push this over here. Okay, there. So now what I did was I made myself this dark line, and you're like, what for? I'm going to just go down on the opacity and make a little shadow under the that side of the handle. I think that looks good. Ta-da! All right, so let's get rid of our swatch so nobody knows we used it. And here we have our beautiful little cheap plastic bag that we bought at a discount house for $7, and it looks really nice. And I hope you enjoyed this class, and I hope that you subscribe, and see you around. Bye!